Hi guys, Mr. Murphy here. This is going to be kind of a long video, may even break up into 2 or 3 videos. Take your time and take notes and listen to this video over and over again. We're talking about standard 7.RP3, that's ratios and percentages, and basically it is using proportional relationships to solve multi-step ratio and percent problems. So we know that proportional relationships are equivalent proportions. They have a constant, they have a straight graph, they have a unit rate, they have that constant of proportion, all that stuff. Um, the types of proportional problems we're going to have are simple interest, tax, markups, markdowns, gratuities, commissions, fees, percent increase, percent decrease, percent error, etc. There's a lot of them. We won't cover every single one, but we'll cover a lot. So basically, we're going to solve all these word problems through the knowledge of ratios that we've learned over the last month. So of the types of problems, let's go ahead and take a look at mostly simple interest, tax, markup, markdown. We'll probably do percent increase, percent decrease, and a percent error. Commission is a percent you earn on money. Fees is a percent you pay on money. Gratuity is a tip. So let's take a look at those. The types of problem I'll look at first are adding percentages, subtracting percentages, and finding percentages. In all of these types of problems, you're going to find a percentage first and then add or subtract it, or just use the percentage. It depends on the problem, so you have to read the question carefully. Let's take a look at adding percentages. There are 3 methods of adding a percentage. You find the percent and then add it to the total. You can find the total in one step, or you can create a proportion. So look at this problem and we'll solve it 3 times in a row. Montrell makes 120 widgets each month to sell. This month he increases the number of widgets he makes by 30%. How many widgets does Montrell make this month? So first we're going to solve it by adding the percent. So I'm going to convert this percent to a decimal. So I'm going to take this percent here, and I'm going to convert it to a decimal. So 30% converted to a decimal. Now you divide by 100, or you just move the percent to the decimal 2 spots over. So here's the decimal, and I'm just going to move it 2 spots over. So 30% becomes 0.3. And what is 30% of 120? So I'm going to take 120 and I'm going to multiply by 0.3. So I can drop this last 0 off because it's on there. And I know this, I can do this in my head. So 3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 120 is 360. I have 1 decimal point, so that goes right there. I don't like how that does that. Put a dot right there. So I have 36. So when he increases the number of widgets by 30%, he increases 36 over the original 120 he has. So how many widgets does Montrell make this month? He makes 120 plus 36, which is 156 widgets. See how that works? So he started with 120 widgets. He increased it by 30%. 30% of 120 is 36. So this month he makes 156 widgets. So let's do the same problem by finding the total percentage and in one step. So step 1 is add 100% of the problem, because he makes 120 widgets every month. And then he increases it by 30%. So he starts with the 100% of his widgets, which is 120, and he adds 30% on top of that. So he's making 120, my mistake, 130% of what he normally makes. So let's convert that to a decimal by taking our decimal point, which is here, and moving it 2 spots over. So he is making 1.3 times as many widgets. So he started with 120 widgets, and he's making 1.3 times as many widgets. So 120 times 3 is going to be 13 times 12, which was, what did we get on the last problem? I'm not going to put out a calculator. 156. So that will be 156 widgets. So we add 100% to the 30%. So 30% plus 100%. So that's 130%. We converted the 130% to a decimal, which becomes 1.3, and then we multiply the decimal times the original number. So 120 times 1.3 gives me 156 widgets. Always important to put your units and everything down there as a final answer, maybe even circle it, so I as a teacher know what you did. The third way of solving these types of problems is to make a proportion. So a percent is a portion over 100. So I've already got a proportion. So this 30% is the proportion of 30 over 100. And that's going to be equal to my original, which is 120, over x. I think that's going to be right. I always make these backwards. So I'm going to try it, and I'm going to use algebra to multiply. So this is an equal sign. Everything on the left is equal to everything on the right. So if I do stuff on the left, I have to do stuff on the right to keep it in balance like that. I want to get rid of the x, so I'm going to multiply this side times x. That I have to do the same on the right. I also want to get rid of this 100. It's dividing by 100, so I'm going to multiply by 100. And I'm going to multiply this side by 100. And you can see I've done it forwards and backwards here because it's multiplication, it's commutative, so I can do it forwards and backwards. So this 100, or this x on this side, cancels with this x. So they be x divided by x is 1. And this 100 and this 100 on this side cancel out. 100 divided by 100 is 1. So on the left, I've got 100 times 20. I'm going to write it over here. 100 times 20 is 120 times 100 is 120 plus 2 zeros equals 30 times x. So now I know what 30 x's are. One is 12,000, but I don't want to know 12,000. I want to divide both sides by 30. 30 divided by 30 becomes 1. 12,000 divided by 30 is, well, we can cancel out the zeros. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 2 zeros. 400 equals x. Now, I know I've done that completely wrong because my answer should be the same as the other ones. It should be 156. So I'm going to go back here where I made this original proportion, and I must have done it upside down. So x over 120. Erase those and write a millimeter. X over 120 equals 30 over 100. Now I'm going to multiply this side by 120 and 100, and this side by 120 and 100, so that would be 100. X equals 120 times 30, and we've done that problem before. That's 36. 3 times 12 is 36. I've got 1, 2 zeros there. 3,600. This is looking better. Divide both sides by 100. Divide this side by 100. I have X equals 36 because the 2 zeros cancel out. 36 over 1 is 36. So this tells me my percentage increase is 36. So now I can go back as we did in the first problem, and 120 plus 36 equals 156. Now I can go back and re-edit this problem and do it correct the first time, but I want you to know everybody makes mistakes. And so when we do this problem and we get an answer, we have to say, does this answer make sense? Here it says 30% increase is 400, but I only do 120 widgets every month. 30% should be less than 120. So I know this answer has to be wrong. My final answer has to be 156 widgets. Now you may have noticed, and this is going to be just advanced people, so if you're not advanced, you can just ignore this. If I do a 30% over 100, I get the 36. If I had done this proportion, X over 120 equals 136 over 100. If I multiply that out, 120 times 100, 120 times 100 on both sides, the hundreds cancel out, the 120s cancel out, so I have 100x equals 136 times 120 becomes 156 with 2 zeros. And then when I cancel out the 100s on both sides, the 2 zeros cancel out, the 100 cancels out, x equals 156. So solving the first way, solving method 1 is the same thing, and method 2 is the same thing, and then method 3 you could do it 2 different ways too. So there technically could be 4 methods of doing this. Subtracting a percentage. I'm almost into my 15 minutes, so subtracting a percentage will be on the next video. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.